Oh yeah, olive oil. How do you choose a good one, guys? There are so many in the grocery stores, and a lot of them could potentially be rancid or adulterated with seed oils. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to choose the best olive oil possible, and I'm gonna test 4 of the best olive oils that I could find on Amazon with the highest amounts of polyphenols. So what's the deal with olive oil in general? You guys know that I am no fan of seed oils. They are industrially processed, heated, refined, bleached, deodorized. They increase LDL oxidation. There are many studies which show they increase cardiovascular mortality. I've talked about seed oils at length, ad nauseum in the past. I don't want to talk about seed oils in this video, but there are also studies which show that when you consume olive oil versus a seed oil, your LDL is less likely to oxidize. Why do I care about LDL oxidation? Because it's a strong risk factor, it's a strong correlate for incident cardiovascular disease, that is atherosclerosis, plaque in your arteries. When LDL is oxidized, it's more likely to get picked up by a macrophage in the arterial wall, thus begins the fatty streak in the arterial wall and the beginning of atherosclerosis. It's a complex process, but it's pretty clear that we do not want to do things that increase LDL oxidation. So olive oil is a big thing right now, guys. Look, you know that I'm a huge fan of tallow. I got my lineage tallow here. It's from grass-fed, grass-finished animals, regeneratively raised. Most of the time when I'm cooking, I use an animal fat. I'll use butter or ghee or tallow because they're more highly saturated and they resist the heat better. But there's a lot of talk now about olive oil, and I think the benefit of olive oil is if you're just putting it on top of your food. I would not cook with olive oil because, as we will see in this video, it is less saturated. There are more unsaturated oils, specifically more monounsaturated fats in olive oil versus tallow, and slightly more polyunsaturated fats like linoleic acid in olive oil versus tallow. You know, seed oils have 20, 30, 40% linoleic acid, omega-6, polyunsaturated fats. Olive oils tend to have 7 to 15%. And I have certificates of analysis for many of these oils, so I can tell you how much linoleic acid is in them. For instance, this guy here has about 7% linoleic acid, so not a ton. I mean, more than tallow. Tallow generally has 1 to 2% linoleic acid. Butter's around the same, but this olive oil has a little bit more. It's not as much as a seed oil, and these are not refined in the same way. Olive oil is made by harvesting the olives straight off the trees. The best olive oil comes from early harvest. So right about now, September to November every year is when the olives are harvested. All of these are 2024 olive oils. We're in 2025 right now, and these are all 2024 olive oils. You can't get a 2025 olive oil right now. The first pressing of olive oils, the first harvest of olive oils earlier in the season has higher polyphenol content. That's probably where the benefits of olive oil come from. What do the studies say about olive oil? Well, the one that most people refer to is called PREDIMED. It was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. Over 7,000 participants followed for more than 4 years. Participants were encouraged to use more than 4 tablespoons of olive oil per day, but not just any olive oil, an extra virgin olive oil. And this was done in the Mediterranean region where olive oil is something people take very, very seriously. So it's not just any extra virgin olive oil, it's real extra virgin olive oil. And we'll talk about what that is in this video. Now, if you look at PREDIMED, those people in the experimental group having extra virgin olive oil per day plus some nuts, it seemed to improve their lifespan and decrease incident cardiovascular disease. So it seemed to be beneficial for these people. It's important to understand what was really done in the study. They used olive oil, but it was mostly refined olive oil. You can see if you look at the data for PREDIMED that the people in the control group were still using olive oil, but it wasn't the good stuff. It wasn't extra virgin olive oil. And I'll show you guys how you know from these certificates of analysis. And the experimental group used an extra virgin olive oil. They seem to get the benefits. So this doesn't seem like the benefits are coming from just olive oil or oleic acid, which is the omega-9 monounsaturated fat that is prominent in olive oil, but also found in tallow and butter and other things. The benefits are probably from the polyphenols in olive oil. And there are polyphenols in fruit. There's polyphenols all over the place in nature, but olive oil has some unique polyphenols. These include oleocanthal, hydroxytyrosol, and derivatives, and a polyphenol called olerapine. Okay, so some of these certificates of analysis will actually tell you how much of those polyphenols are in these oils, but that's probably where the benefits of olive oil lie. Hydroxytyrosol has been researched widely and shown to have multiple benefits on the gut, decreasing inflammation, potentially decreasing markers of immune reactivity in the gut, maybe decreasing harmful species in the gut, maybe even supporting the growth of beneficial species in the gut. So hydroxytyrosol may be shaping our gut flora in a positive way. Oleocanthal has been studied and found to have anti-inflammatory effects. And then there's olerapine, which is probably something similar. So what's interesting about these olive oils and why I selected these four is because these have high polyphenol content. I'll show you guys how much is in each of these. I think this is the highest one with over 1,500 milligrams of polyphenols. This one has around 750. The Atlas actually doesn't tell me how many are in here. And I think this Virgin olive oil has around 500 milligrams per kilogram of polyphenols. What's interesting about these olive oils is that I'm going to taste each of them and I'm going to show you guys what they look like. Now, remember that I got all these olive oils on Amazon, so you can get these all in the States wherever you are. And I looked for high polyphenol olive oils on Amazon. But when I'm looking at olive oil, just in general, here's what you want. You want organic, extra virgin, and the extra virgin certification means something that I'll tell you in a second. You want in glass, and you want that glass to be opaque. All of these qualify for those first set of restrictions. Then you want it to be a cold pressed olive oil, and you want it to be a first cold pressing, preferably a single source. We have a Moroccan olive oil, a Greek olive oil, and 2 Italian olive oils here. And it's gonna be interesting. I've never tried these olive oils before. These are all unopened bottles. You guys get to see me crack these open. I'm gonna show you what they look like. They're probably gonna look differently between the oils, and I'm going to taste them. When you take a shot of olive oil, because remember, I don't think you want to cook with olive oil. You're degrading the polyphenols in there, and that's the whole point, right? If you want to cook, use fats that are more stable in heat, like a tallow or a butter or a ghee. The olive oil is not as stable as these more highly saturated fats, and you guys all know that I don't think saturated fat is bad for humans. Many types of saturated fats are clearly beneficial for humans, like stearic acid. That's the subject of a different video. If you cook with these, you're degrading the polyphenols. That's the whole point. If you want to do shots with olive oil, there's probably an argument for that. If you want to put olive oil on your salad, great. I don't know why you eat a salad in the first place, guys, but fine. So let's just see how it goes, and I'll do some shots with these, and we'll see how they taste. Because if you do a shot of your olive oil at home and it tastes funny, or you don't get that burning sensation in the back of your throat for 10 to 15 seconds, it may not have a ton of polyphenols. If you guys like analyses like this, detailed stuff, check out my free newsletter. Every week I do a free newsletter. It comes out on Sunday. I'll put a link here to subscribe to it. I'm gonna break down how to look for olive oil. I'm gonna get some analysis recently about waters. I retested Mountain Valley water. I tested Saratoga. It's all gonna be in there. I retested the salts for heavy metals. So check out my free newsletter. It comes out every Sunday. Back to the video. So I'm gonna show you the guys, the certificates of analysis here. I'm gonna start with this one. This is a Terra Diva olive oil, and I have a certificate of analysis here. Now, in order for it to be considered extra virgin, it needs to meet standards for acidity and peroxides. The acidity needs to be less than 0.8, and this one is 0.18, and the peroxides need to be less than 20 milliequivalents per kilogram. This one is 2.4 milliequivalents per kilogram for peroxides. Now, what's also interesting, if you look at these certificates of analysis, and I'll just give you guys the conclusion of this video, basically, if you think your olive oil is high quality and you want some sort of health benefit, if you don't have a certificate of analysis for your olive oil, you don't have any idea what's in there. So this guy has a certificate of analysis. I found this one online. This one I can't find the certificate of analysis for, so we'll see how it feels when I drink it. And this Virgin one, I have a certificate of analysis. And you'll see on these, they have acidity, peroxides. They have something called the K index, which is interesting. And it tells you about rancidity, oxidation, and the potential of adulteration. Depending where you're getting your olive oil from, whether it's the US or Spain or Brazil or Greece or Morocco or Italy, wherever, there is a risk of adulteration. It's very regional, right? When I looked at data for Italian olive oils, sometimes 10 or 15% are adulterated with seed oils. There's something called the delta K, and if the delta K is elevated, that suggests that there could be contamination of the oil. So if you think you've got a great olive oil and you don't have a certificate of analysis, you really don't know what's in there, guys. So you want a delta K that's low. The delta K in this guy is 0.0060. The delta K of this guy is 0.00, but they don't tell me any more than that. The other K values that are interesting, I know I'm getting kind of granular here, are K232 and K270. These are light absorption indices, and they tell you about the degree of rancidity. They look at diterpenes and triterpenes. Again, it's scientific jargon. It just tells you how much the oil has gone rancid. And this will probably change over time. Remember, these olive oils are all about a year old. They've all been sitting in here for about a year. So ideally, you live in Italy, you live in Spain, you live in Greece, and you can package your own olive oil this September and drink it right away. The rest of us have to settle for olive oil that's a year old. And a lot of us are buying olive oil that we think is healthy, that we don't even have a sourcing from. It's not single source. You don't even know when it was produced. Unfortunately, a lot of the olive oils that I'm looking at now say they're best before 2028. I don't want to drink an olive oil that's 4 years old, right? A year is about the max I'm going to go. And if I really am trying to do a shot of olive oil or a topper finisher olive oil, and I'm looking for health benefits from a polyphenol perspective, it really should be from last year or even this year. So in December of this year, you might be able to get some 2025 early harvest olive oil that'll be pretty new and pretty good. So these certificates of analysis are just indispensable. The Terra Diva tells me oleocanthal amounts, it tells me olorapine amounts, it tells me hydroxytyrosol derivatives, and then they add them up to give you the total polyphenols. Again, this one is greater than 1500. This is the highest polyphenol I could find, or one of them on Amazon. So the certificate of analysis tells you a ton. This guy's pretty similar, but it has less polyphenols, but it will tell me the K values, the delta K, oleocanthal, overall polyphenols, which are 514 milligrams per kilogram, tells me tyrosol, etc. You get the idea. Like, this is a whole different level of olive oil quality than most of us are used to when we go to the grocery store. And I think that that's what's important. And these are not astronomically expensive. These are not big bottles of olive oil, but you're also not cooking with it. These are all around $40 to $50. And if you're taking a shot a day or a couple of tablespoons a day, that's your investment. You know, I think that if you believe olive oil is healthy and you want the benefits, spending more money is beneficial. This one is cheaper, it's 25, but again, I don't have a certificate of analysis. It says it's organic, extra virgin, it's from Morocco, but I can't confirm any of these values. So it's getting geeky, but guys, it matters. The quality of your olive oil 100% matters if you want to use it for these reasons. In case you guys haven't tried it, putting olive oil on your Lineage beef sticks is amazing. I'm joking, I never do that, but these are the best meat sticks on the planet, grass-fed, grass-finished, regeneratively raised. Check us out, lineageprovisions.com. Let's test some olive oils. Okay, they all look pretty similar in terms of coloring. This one might be the lightest one, I don't know. Hard to say. But I'm gonna smell them. This is like a wine tasting, guys. I'm gonna smell all of them and then I'm gonna taste them. So.
Les nuits, à marcher dans les rues, et je laisse mon ennui le long des avenues.
Kind of smells like cut grass and olive oil. This one also smells pretty good. Just off the top, these two smell the strongest. And now, the moment of truth. I'm gonna take some shots of these olive oils and show you guys how much they burn my throat. So I'm gonna do the Paul subjective metric. I think I'm gonna start with the 500. So the virgin olive oil, let's go. Oh yeah, there's some burn there. Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's real. Whew, that's good. I mean, it's like, it burns the back of my throat for 10, 15 seconds, it's still going. So I think this one is gonna be the most strong. So this is the Terra Diva organic olive oil. This one, they only did 1,900 liters. This one had 1,500 milligrams per kilogram of polyphenol. So let's see, ready? Bottoms up. Well, almost. Oh, here it comes. Okay, there, it takes a few seconds. Yep, this is the most boring part of the video when you guys watch me wait for polyphenols. That one tastes a little different. This is definitely like different flavor. It definitely had a good burn. That's pretty serious, okay? I kind of feel like these are pretty similar though, and this one supposedly had less. That one had a lot more, but you could taste it. Like there's definitely a burn in that olive oil. So I'm gonna let it recede, and then I'm gonna do the Greek one. All right, so let's try the PJ Cabos organic, high phenolic, Greek, extra virgin olive oil. That one was pretty strong, pretty strong. And then this one is just like whatever, you know, I'm not even really excited about it, but let's see. Because I was just recently in Spain, in Mallorca, and I tried some olive oils there, and I was not floored at all by the throat burn. I'm just interested in polyphenols and olive oils, and I want them to burn my throat. And so if I do an olive oil, a sip of olive oil, and it doesn't just like really light up my throat, I'm like, whatever, it's garbage. But these have all been pretty good. I mean, all right, Atlas, see what you got. It definitely has a little fruitier flavor, but I'm just not getting the same burn at all. Like that one is like weak. These, way more burn. And again, that's my subjective measure of these objectively modified polyphenols, but it's definitely not a bad olive oil. Again, it has lots of awards, organic, extra virgin, cold pressed, but it doesn't compare to these. And so if you guys haven't tried an olive oil that really makes your throat burn, that you haven't seen the certificate of analysis for like this, that you haven't looked at acidity, peroxides, oleocanthal, oleuropine, hydroxytyrosol levels, the K values. This is like nerdy olive oil stuff, guys. But if you really want to call yourself an olive oil purist and you really want to get the maximum benefits from this food, which is an interesting food that humans have been consuming for thousands of years, you got to know what your K values mean. And then when you're at a party, you can really impress the girl or the guy you want to talk to by talking to them all about K values. It works. I've tried it. That's not true. I've never tried it. I think of all of them, I like the Greek one the most, but they're all pretty solid oils. Hopefully that's helpful. Quick recap: glass bottle, first cold pressing, organic, extra virgin olive oil, single source. Find your certificate of analysis. Look at the K values, look at the peroxide values, look at the acidity, confirm it all, and then use as you choose to. But you never want to cook with a $50 olive oil, guys. That makes no sense. Put it on your salad. Again, if you eat salad, you could drizzle it on the top of cheese or something. There's probably a benefit here in the polyphenols, not just in the oil itself. So you want these to be as pure and as well processed as possible. I know there are some people who are doing shots of this, of olive oil a day. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, that's probably a few tablespoons worth of olive oil. The jury is still out on how much you need for a therapeutic effect. Again, in that PrediMed study, it was 4 tablespoons a day is what they were aiming for. I think 4 tablespoons is a lot of olive oil. I'm not sure I would do that much, but you know, if you like drinking olive oil and you feel good with it, great, just get a good one. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys have other olive oils that you want me to try, put them in the comments. I'll come back and try them. And stay tuned on my channel because I've got interesting stuff coming up. We tested Mountain Valley water, Saratoga, Voss, Icelandic for heavy metals, BPA, microplastics we're going to talk about on the channel. I tested all of the salts again. That's going to be on the channel. Again, I've got a free newsletter every Sunday. I'll put a link here to sign up. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to go eat a steak.